This is the time, guys, when I think we start to look at the NBA contenders and pretenders. The question I had initially thought about for this situation to ask you guys was, do the Knicks need to shake up their roster at the trade deadline, going to get a big star or a smaller addition? I think OG Anunoby fits into that smaller addition. No shade to OG on that there. This is where we're going to have some fun. What is a player of the next moves? Both you guys have mentioned Donovan Mitchell. Is he that guy for you that would be the fit for the Knicks to make a move, whether it's at the deadline now, in the summer, I don't know when? Is that the next kind of move that the Knicks need to make when you look at them in terms of trades?
For me, first of all, I don't think Donovan Mitchell's getting traded before the deadline. I think, especially, give Cleveland a lot of credit. I mean, you want to talk about they've sustained injuries to their Garland and Mobley, and now Mitchell's been out for a little while, but although he just came back. I think the rest of this year, not to defer the question, I think the rest of this year should be dedicated for the Knicks to answering the question you just asked, which is, can this version of this team with Brunson and Randall as your kind of offensive bookends, an elite wing defender in Anunoby, let's figure they get the elite, defensive center back, whether it's Mitch or someone else, and then a non-star at the two, or let's even go a step further, an offense-first player at the two. Or maybe it's they reinsert Grimes in the starting lineup and go a little bit more defense in that respect, albeit a little bit small for the shooting guard. I think that they're probably done in terms of big moves for this year would be my gut feeling. And I think what they do for the rest of the season will inform how they approach this summer and how aggressive they feel they need to be when it comes to making a move this summer.
Now, you guys know this very well with what you do. Some of the fan base is not going to be happy about this. We saw this with OG Anunoby. Oh, it's not a big enough name. There's people who want to go star hunting. CP, in your eyes, do the Knicks have to go star hunting, or should they play it the way J-Mac is talking about and be a little bit patient and see what they have with this current roster?
Before this trade for Anunoby, I thought it was going to be a smaller trade, another trade on the margins. Maybe they address some of their front court issues, whether it's a center position, backup four, or even maybe they find a wing somewhere. But now that they've made that trade, I still don't see the big-ticket item coming in mid-season. It rarely happens that way. I think a Mitchell type of trade would happen in the off-season because, with the play-in, teams now have incentive to keep going and not pulling everything back. I mean, now you're essentially widening the playoffs to 10 teams, if you want to look at it that way. So teams aren't necessarily out of it at certain lengths in the season. Give Cleveland as an example. Right now is the time, as Jonathan said, you got to evaluate what they have. See how these three fit. Evaluate Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride. I mean, from a young talent standpoint, you've already traded two in R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. You traded some salary out in R.J. Barrett. So I don't think they make that big-ticket item, big-ticket trade by the deadline. I think they stand pat here, go forward with this team, and evaluate things at the end of the season.
Look, I like that. I think it's a good move. I think patience is good. Taking time to evaluate things is good. We don't always have to rush to get to that next level as though we know some of these fans are impatient. They want to get there. Everybody wants tomorrow yesterday.
Knicks fans?
We know that. Yeah, never heard of that before.